Hello and welcome once again to the Entrepreneur Power Hour, working together to inspire, create, and unite entrepreneurs from all around the world in any field of entrepreneurial business. We want to hear from you and your ideas, your struggles, successes, and how you have helped inspire those who follow you. In this week's show, me and Kareem, my good co-host Kareem Mays here, we're going to be talking about how to change negative beliefs into positive beliefs. So Kareem, to start us off tonight, I'm going to ask you, what have been some negative beliefs and habits that you have worked very hard to change and overcome?
Thanks, Chris. That's a great question. A few of them, and I'm going to start off with three of them, just name them and go over what they were causing me to do. One problem was in my business life. I never believed for a long time that I could make an income outside of a 9-to-5 job. So I had a negative belief that if you didn't go to college, if you didn't get a degree, and if you didn't go through the motions, as they call it, you would never become successful. You would end up working a very mediocre job, and you wouldn't have the financial backing to do what you wanted in life. Now, I did those things. I'm not saying I'm against college. I actually think it's a good experience, but it doesn't end there. So one negative belief I had was that you cannot create an income outside of an institution that's not your own, that you didn't create. A second negative belief I had came with relationships. I believed, because I read a lot of stupid stuff on the internet, that you had to be a super rich, super, buff, super everything type of guy. You had to have the best attributes in the world to attract a quality partner. And I know that's false, because once I got the confidence to do it, and I didn't change anything about myself, my physical appearance, my financial status, I was able to, discern that that was a false belief. The problem is we see this so much in the media as to you have to be like Brad Pitt to have a successful relationship, and that is definitely not the case. The last belief I had about that was pretty bad is working out's too hard, or I can't get into shape like a lot of people, because when I started working out, I think I was like 15, 16. I was doing a lot lighter weights than everybody. I wasn't really a great athlete. I wasn't really a great weightlifter. And I really didn't think I could get in shape like some of my friends who'd been lifting for a while. And I really had to dig deep and realize that everybody has to start somewhere, and that I can break athletic problems as much as the next guy. I can get athletic feats done, and I can get physical feats done as much as the next guy if I'm dedicated enough. So those are my three negative beliefs I had about myself. One was with business. You can't make an income outside of 9-to-5. One was relationships. You can't attract a good partner if you're not like a Brad Pitt type dude or someone who's a celebrity. And three, that because I was not physically fit when I started, or naturally athletic, quote unquote, that I couldn't break some physical barriers that I believed. So I'm going to throw it back to you.
Okay, thanks very much. Do you want to ask me well, I'll go on to talk about some stuff that I've done to I'll talk about some negative beliefs and habits that I had to work very hard to overcome, and that was, I used to have a really bad addiction to drugs, and I was doing a lot of drugs, and I was living in a really bad place in myself. I was very depressed when I lost my wife, and it really made me turn into a pretty negative person. And I never really believed that there were any good women left out there. And I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know who Chris Peters wanted to be. I knew that I was a musician and that I had my beliefs, etc. personal beliefs and stuff, but I didn't know how I was going to apply myself in a business sense, in a success sense of becoming financially independent. And I didn't really have any goals. So when I started martial arts back in 2007, and I had really bad panic disorder and things like that, the karate and everything really helped me change. And it helped me change my beliefs. It helped me form a stronger sense of self. And karate's been a huge inspiration to me. I got out of it for a while. Now I'm back in it, and it's been very, very, very helpful. Makes me more focused. I'm excited to come home and practice, and more good ideas are flowing to me because I'm centered. I'm centering all my chakras and my energy and everything through it, and I know now where I'm going, and those are actions I had to take. I had to find something to channel that energy into so that I could start forming new beliefs and rebuilding that confidence in myself that I had lost when I lost my wife. And it was a very difficult time. And I guess for now, I've been progressing more and more, and I keep getting better as much as I can every day. And those were some things that I really had to take care of because I was very much into self-medicating, and it wasn't a good road to go down. And so those are some very important steps that I have taken to challenge those negative beliefs and habits. And the thing is, everybody that's watching us needs to learn that if you're going to change a negative belief and a habit, it's going to take anywhere between 60 to 251 days for that habit and those positive neural pathways to be built inside of your brain. We know through science and psychology that the brain is neuroplastic. So we know that neuroplasticity is real. We know that we can change the way our brains work. We know that once we start doing new activities, learn new behaviors, that new beliefs start forming in neural pathways, and those end up becoming instinctual. So they end up becoming second nature in your subconscious mind, which in turn changes your conscious thought processes and changes the way you see the world. And then you start to attract more inside into you to become grateful for. So it all starts with changing what's inside of you through forming new habits and new behavior changes. So so the next question I'm going to ask you, Kareem, what were some actions and new habits and behaviors that you took on to form new positive beliefs and habits?
Thanks, Chris. And that's a really interesting question because I myself am still taking those actions. So it's not something that I started and then I quit, which is what I want to make apparent. That you said once you start a new habit, you have to do it for at least 2 months. But for me, if it's really something you want to do to improve yourself, you're actually going to make a complete lifestyle change. So those 3 things I mentioned, with the making an income from home, funny enough, one of the things that I do is I'm doing this and I'm helping people with like public speaking and stuff like that. And I'm doing anything I can now to better create value, not just for myself, but I'm looking what can I create value and how can I help people through the internet, through my blog, through whatever I'm doing, so I can brand myself and I can not only help the world, but achieve success over the internet and get over this financial hurdle that nobody will pay me for my own and with internal value, that I have to have a job. So one action I take is I do self-talk, and I also do like meditation. I get into state. Tony Robbins talks a lot about this, and a lot of success coaches talk about. I get into a state where I know I'm going to be successful, and I just make the right actions every day, totally believing and feeling emotionally, which is important, because if you don't really feel it emotionally, you won't get up. So I get in the right state that says I'm here right now, and I'm going to be in this place in however many days. And while I'm in state, I also do tell a better story. I don't go from zero to hero. So to give you an example, with relationships, when I was afraid, like when I think I was in middle school, I would say, okay, I'm scared now. I'm just going to go up to her and say hi. I'm just going to go up to somebody. I'm just going to approach people and say hi and start a conversation. Then maybe, you know, I'm going to go and actually start talking to someone who I'm interested in or I like. And then further on and further on. Or weightlifting. Maybe I'll just start benching the bar. Now, a lot of people, like power lifters, will be like, yeah, okay, laughing at me. That's fine. I'd start squatting just with the bar. And I'm like, okay, next time, couple weeks, I'm putting on 10 pounds, put on 20 pounds, put on, 50, 60, however many. But I get in state that I'm going to get physically fit. And then I start telling a better story so it's believable. Because if somebody starts saying, okay, I'm going to get in state, I'm on welfare and I want to make $1 billion tomorrow. I'm not going to actually say that's not possible, but I'm going to say make something that's believable. I'm going to start making $50 residual income, 100, 200, 300. Yeah. So 2 things I can say that helped. I get in the right state of mind, a state that what the outcome I want, I'm here right now. This is the outcome I want. I know I'm going to get there. I do that emotionally, pumping myself up. And things pump different people up, so I can't give you an exact thing. Self-talk, music, meditation are all good ways to get you in the right state. And you know when you're in state because you're feeling a positive energy towards what you're going to do. You really believe it can be done. And then you tell a better story about from where you're at now to where you want to be. And you progressively increase that story till you get there. So if you can do those 2 things, I think you can knock out some negative beliefs. It doesn't happen overnight, but I think it's effective. I'll throw it back to you.
Cool. All right. Thanks, my friend. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, your name on your you might want to change your name to Kareem Mays underneath the Entrepreneur Power Hour because it says it twice. It's all right. It's all right. Anyway, so I guess I will go on here and say some actions that I took to form new positive beliefs and habits were, like I said, I got the Linden method from Charles Linden to help me with my panic disorder, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really worked wonders for me. And, I have to throw myself into the new life I want to live. If you want to change beliefs and habits that are holding you back, you have to behave as that person. You literally have to behave as that person. That's the only thing your subconscious mind reacts to is behavior. Because you behave in a certain way and your mind starts to take on those habits, those beliefs, and those thoughts. The more you behave like the person you want to become, the more you begin to manifest it internally, the more it reflects out, and the more good things come into your life. And it's been a hell of a journey for me. And this is never easy. Change is not easy, but if you want it, you got to behave like you want it, and it starts to happen within yourself. And I think that one of the biggest hurdles we face as people is we get stuck in a comfort zone, and we want to stay in that comfort zone, and we want to stay. Being unique is what being an entrepreneur is all about. You have to be a unique person. And I think that entrepreneurs that are starting out that are afraid of criticism, well, one tip I'm going to give you guys is criticism's everywhere. You're always going to be criticized. Just don't worry about it. It doesn't matter because all that matters is what you think of yourself. And to be an entrepreneur, you got to step outside the box and you got to live like that person that's outside the box. And you'll start to attract more people who think the same way you do. They want freedom in their lives and they're willing to take risks to get that freedom. So you gotta understand the purpose of delayed gratification as well. I think that a good success habit to begin cultivating is saving money, how much money you make, and only making sure you're spending what you need. I'm getting better at that, and things like that. Only buying food that in the grocery store as opposed to going out for takeout, which, you know, is very, very convenient when you're out grocery shopping. And there's a Subway right next to the Walmart or whatever, and you want to go in there and just grab a quick sub so you can just get on with your day. Just things you can do throughout the day to slow down how much money you're spending, I think, is a big, big part of success in changing a negative habit that you may have with spending money. Another negative habit you may have is not going to bed at the right time. So you're always tired in the morning when you start your day. And if you're not getting proper sleep, it's very hard for you to wake up with an attitude of determination and enthusiasm because you're tired and you want to sleep. And, you know, we only have so much time on this planet. So I think creating some routines for yourself is very important. The body and the mind like routine, and they like harmony. And success and routines have to coincide. And for me, I've been very good at going to bed at the right times, getting up at the same times. There are days where I do nap in the afternoons because I do get up very early for work. But there's more days where I'm not doing that. I'm working on karate, or I'm working on reading one of my personal development books. I'm learning stuff with Kareem because we're building a website for this, and we're giving each other ideas. We're doing the show. So, you know, we're working very hard together, and you guys can do it too. You guys can do it too. So just be inspired by us and give us your feedback and your thoughts, and just get out there and take action. I think that's the most important element to changing a belief, a negative belief and a negative habit, is to take action, because that's what starts the process. Go ahead, Kareem. Go ahead, Kareem.
Okay, so that's actually, I'm going to tie into, you know, advice that I can give people to change negative beliefs, and what actions can they take. I'm going to say that is individual to whatever you're struggling with, but one of the best things I can recommend, and that ties into what I've said before, is getting in the right state of mind, getting in the state of mind that you're going to be able to overcome this. One thing I always did, though, as a specific thing, was to incorporate some type of meditation and to incorporate some type of visualization. Meaning, let's say you don't have the finances you want, or let's say you're not in the situation you want to be, like, physically, you want to get more physically fit. I actually, after I'm done doing the activity, or even while I'm doing the activity, I take a brief moment, not a long time, and sit there and see myself doing the action I wanted to do. Now, I know a lot of people say that's realistic, that's daydreaming, that's not really worth your time. And I beg to differ, because once you create some kind of a thought, even if it's not a thought that you could see yourself doing right now, you start to change your belief system little by little. You start to picture yourself, ooh, I never pictured I could bench 200 pounds. And I'm doing it today. Have I benched it yet? No. But I'm getting there. I never pictured I could make, let's say, $3,000, $4,000 a month. And you keep picturing what life would be like to that. You keep visualizing. You don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to be visualizing hours per day. But I take a little bit of time out of my day, sit there, clear all the gunk out of my head, sit there and meditate, visualize what I want. And that also ties into helping telling a better story. You visualize progressively better what you want to get at. And as crazy as it is, if you're really dedicated enough, you'll start to see little signs of the universe or God or source energy or whatever it is you believe, as far as I'm concerned, push you in the direction. It's not like The Secret where I go, I want $1 million, and it goes, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you're, going to get a winning lottery ticket if you just, go, I want a winning lottery ticket, and 10 minutes later it doesn't happen and you feel discouraged. But if you progressively, over months and months, maybe it'll take even a year, couple of years, you can manifest the right behavior if you just live that life, do small changes to get yourself progressively better. So it ties into a lot of what I said. I'm going to throw it back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Kareem. And yeah, that's some good advice, man. Good wisdom coming from you. And I'm really proud of you, man. Like you're a really smart guy, and you've learned a lot. And it's great to work with you every week and be good bros with you. I love you, man. And that's what we're here to do, guys. We want to help everybody who's watching us. We want to help everyone who comes on the panel leave here feeling, inspired and recharged, because that's all we can do. We got to keep growing. And even if you make small changes every day, that's going to add up to big rewards later. And so I guess the next question I'm going to ask Kareem is, I guess you kind of already took care of this, but what advice do you have for our viewers on ways that they can begin to change those negative beliefs? What actions should they take to begin the process of change?
I'm actually going to add on to what I said.
Yeah.
And this is actually another thing you can do to progressively change. One thing is, in addition to doing what I said, telling a better story and everything, you have to change your environment. If you're familiar with the show Biggest Loser, or the different shows like that, maybe to lose weight. I'm not picking on anybody here. They put you in a specific environment where you're geared to get that goal. You're geared to get more physically fit. Now, let's say you go home and there's chocolate cakes and pop and pizza everywhere and a bunch of junk food. It's very easy to go from zero to hero and then back to zero again. Or let's say I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make a lot of money, and then my friends are inviting me to go out partying every weekend. Now, I know an entrepreneur sounds like a glamorous life, but sometimes it's gonna, at the start, mostly, it's gonna involve ooh, I can't go out partying every night. Well, what's up with that? Or I gotta sit here and study and read a book or work on a website. That doesn't sound fun. But it's a conducive environment to what you're getting at. So one advice I can give, and you'll progressively see this in any change you want to make, to change any beliefs, is to modify your environment to the goals you want to set. So if I want to get in shape, I'm not going to have a lot of bad food around. I'm not going to have a lot of sugary drinks around. If I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm not going to hang out with people who are constantly telling me I can't be whatever it is I want to be. Or telling me that I can't achieve whatever I want to achieve in this world. Not because, I'm a bad person or I want to alienate people. And not because, I don't like a good, I don't like drinking pop here or there too, but I realize that my goals are more important than the convenience I could get for 10 minutes or an hour or 2 hours or even for a day. I think a lot of people run into the problem as entrepreneurs that they don't want to give up what the fun they can have now for the glory they'll get down the line. And to me, if you want to achieve longevity with something, you're going to have to progressively change your environment so you can get there. So that's another piece of advice. In addition to the visualization, telling a better story, it's going to be very difficult. I'm not saying you can't do it. It's going to be extremely difficult to change a negative belief if, let's say, I'm telling all the good stories, I'm getting into state, and I go home and someone tells me, you can't be an entrepreneur, you can't build this company, your blog, just work your 9 to 5, and everybody around you is telling that, you're going to have to be an exceptionally strong person to do that. So I'm not saying you alienate people, but modify your environment. Choose a room, choose a time, get some alone time where you can be yourself. Maybe even don't hang out with specific people that are bringing you down. Don't hang out at places that have, a lot of bad food. I don't go to fast food restaurants, hardly ever. I don't even want to walk in there. I don't think I've gone to a Burger King maybe in 3 years. Like, if somebody invites me and it's real good friends, I'll go there, I'll sit there, I might get like a drink or something. But for the most part, I'm not even eating out that much. I don't get much takeout. I used to like, I'm going to get a pizza from Domino's. No more, not doing it again. I cut out drinking and smoking. I never did smoke, but I cut out drinking. I cut out caffeine even. So I just a ton of stuff that people are like, whoa, how'd you do that? And people make fun of me even. Some of my friends are like, did you get your 3 almonds for today? I'm like, yeah. But to me, being in shape or being quote unquote ripped is more important than eating stuffed crust pizza.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's good. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess I'll elaborate on that and say, the advice I've got for viewers on ways they can begin to change their negative beliefs are, you got to believe that there can be change. Because with our society being so tailored to glorifying negativity, it's no wonder that we've got so much depression and people with anxiety disorders in this world. And people got to understand that you can change those things. You can change anything about yourself that you want, but you have to want to change it bad enough. And what are some examples I can give you guys? Let's say you're drinking a lot of alcohol, and you want you know that it's bad for you. Okay, and I do drink, but I don't get drunk every weekend or anything. But I enjoy alcohol. I love to drink because I like the taste, and I like tasting different liquors from around the world, etc. But for me, it's an enjoyment. I enjoy alcohol. I do not have a problem with it. But let's say if there's anybody out there who does, you can get that same elevation that you get drinking from going out and helping an old lady cross the street that's having a hard time pushing her walker or whatever, opening the door for a senior citizen, or walking over to a charity that you believe in and that you want to support and donating some money. You could get that same satisfaction from helping somebody understand something about network marketing, or you could turn them on to some personal development that you may be undergoing, and just inspiring them to get on the same path as you, finding out what they're all about, and that'll start to make you feel good about yourself. That'll start to change the need to have that hole filled that the alcohol is currently filling for you. And it's like that with gambling, cigarettes, drugs, sex, alcohol. We all use those things as tools to escape. And if we cannot escape ourselves, we can only change ourselves. So for me, it's been a combination of realizing that I don't need those things to make me feel good about myself. And giving has made me feel better about myself than anything, because I'm very, very good to my wife. I'm very good to Kareem and other people that are in my joining me on this journey. And I like being able to offer something back to them for their ideas and what they inspire me to do. I hope that I can inspire them as well. And I think if you can find that outlet to externalize that energy and to give, it's going to make you feel a hell of a lot better than a 40 ounce of your favorite liquor is going to make you feel. Because that's only temporary. The next day you wake up, you're hungover, you're puking in the toilet for 45 minutes, and you feel like crap for the rest of the day. But when you start to create that motion of giving and creating relationships with people, and you have something to offer, that becomes residual. That becomes something that lasts forever in that person. And I think those are just some of the ways that you can start to create positive changes in yourself, is by giving and going outside of yourself. And I've struggled with that too in my life a lot. I've always been a pretty selfish person for a lot of years, and those are some big changes I had to make too. And I've learned a lot in the last 4 years after knowing the people I've gotten to know through the internet and network marketing and things like that. So, just keep making a difference in people's lives, and it could be the smallest thing. Just do it, and those changes will cultivate and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and other parts of your life will start to change, because you're going to see things from a different perspective that you may not have seen before. You might see something else in your life that you need to change that you never noticed before, because you weren't willing to take any action in a smaller area that led to the bigger change. And it all starts by making small changes every day. So, Kareem, how important is it for you yourself to constantly be working on your new positive habits and belief systems in order to make them instinctual?
Hey, thanks for that question, Chris. And how important is it? It's important as much as you want to make it. I could sit here and say like, oh, it's 100% important, and if you don't do it, you're a bad person. But that's not really true, because at the end of the day, your personal goals are what are going to make you feel better the way you want to feel.
Right.
So if it's something that's truly important to you, the famous saying is you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. So you have to decide what are your goals and what are you going to do to make that happen. And if it's really important to you, the number one indicator will be how much action are you going to take. So if you're constantly taking action, you're constantly telling a better story, you're constantly working towards your goal, then you can see it's very important to you. And you have to be the ultimate arbiter of that. I know this is important for me, so I show up every Saturday, even if I have something going on. And someone actually today just invited me to like go out and eat and party and everything. And I said, well, maybe after my show is done. I didn't say no, but said, well, I got a show. I know it's hard. Some of you guys, maybe you're gonna want to watch sports, or you're gonna go out and you're gonna go, I don't know what it is, go I guess maybe snowboarding, maybe a little bit later this time, or you want to play your instrument. And I like to do all those things, or work out. But you have to realize that if you made a commitment to like a business, spend at least an hour a day working on it, working towards whatever you're going for. Especially because if you don't make something important for yourself, nobody else is. So you have to determine how important it is. How important is this negative belief? Are you okay with, ask yourself this, are you okay with being out of shape? Are you okay with the shape you're in? Are you okay with your current income, your current business? Are you okay with the relationships you have in your life, whoever that might be? Really got to ask yourself, dig deep, and then say, like, am I feeling good about those? And you can know if you're feeling good about those. If you're not, then I will say it is time to change whatever it is you're doing. And you have to decide how important it is how much time you're going to commit. So with that, just identify the way you're feeling about a specific area in your life, whatever it is. Go ahead and identify what actions you need to take to get there and implement them on a daily basis. And I can't say for any individual how important a specific goal is to him or her. You have to decide it yourself, and you have to decide it with consistent action and consistent commitment. Because really, if you don't commit to something, it's not important. Throw it back to you.
Well, you said it best, bro. That's the truth. That makes a lot of sense, and that's, I think that if we're really going to inspire, we gotta show up every week. We gotta make an example for other people who are counting on us to say, hey, well, that show's getting really big, and those guys are always a lot of fun, and they're always really laid back. And the more we make people feel welcome here, the more they're going to be expecting us to show up and do this. So this is very influential because this show is in its infancy. We're in our infancy right now doing this, so we got to make sure we're here every week. And yeah, I had some internet problems tonight, and my hockey game was on, but it worked out, and my team won, so I'm happy. But I really wanted to just watch hockey, but then I'm like, oh man, I just remembered, the game didn't end until quarter to 10 your time, but I was having internet problems, so it kind of worked out both ways. But but yeah, I mean, just being here is very important. You got to show up, no matter how you feel. You got to show up to what you say you're going to do, because that's what's going to create trust with people. And I want us to have that trust. I want people to come and be able to count on us, to make them feel better. If they're having a bad day, they can come on the show, tell a funny story, laugh with us, joke with us, and get some insight and some positive inspiration. So I think that's very important, that you commit to whatever you're going to do. Commit to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, and just don't be afraid to ask us questions. If you want to come on the show, there's ways to get a hold of us through the Google page, and you send us. Our emails are there, our phone numbers are there, and contact us. Let us know you want to be on the panel, because we welcome anybody. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you are entrepreneurial, we want you on our show because we want to help you. So, so number 5 here tonight, last question we're going to be asking is, Kareem, in your journey so far, how important is it for you to have a mentor and a group of people who will help you on this journey of reprogramming yourself for success and happiness?
Thanks for that question, Chris. And it's kind of funny because I have my mentor here. But it's interestingly enough, we can kind of tell you're a Habs fan from your jersey or from your Facebook picture. So every hockey has a team, a group, and a coach, as far as I know. So actually, that goes with any sport. They all have a team, and they all have a coach. Now, like you were saying, if we didn't show up, what would you do if the Habs didn't play on time, or if they canceled a game because they weren't committed? You'd probably be pretty upset. But they have a coach there, they have teammates, they have people, fans out to see them, and you got to treat your business almost like you have your customers, you have your mentor, you have people counting on you. Even if you start out small, like even if it's just 1 or 2 people, and some people could say like, oh, I'm on YouTube, only getting a few views, I quit. But you don't know. If you quit or if you don't show up, you'll never know what the people around you working with you are gonna say or do or think. They might be really upset, even if it's just one person. And I'm saying, well, okay, I upset one person. What happens if that one person turns to 20, turns to 30, turns to 50, turns to 1,000? So really having the right people around you to pick you up and get you going, like your team or like your coach or your mentor, is quintessential to what you're going to do. I don't know anybody, even though that I'm sure there are people who are self-made just by themselves, but generally that's not the case. Generally, even if I'm running my own business, I still have people like I ask questions to. I still have people that I go to and need of advice. There's really not an I in this thing. I don't see very many people as an island. So having the right people to get you to go out there in that stadium and play that game, to get you to go on your show and talk to other entrepreneurs, to get you to blog that day, you need that. I'm going to say that's a necessary ingredient to creating your life goals, because you might get discouraged one day and say, I'm going to quit. And that person or those people pull you in there and say, no, we're going to go out there. You're going to give this speech. You're going to play this game. You're going to go out there. You're going to create something great for the world. And could you imagine if some of the people who, when they got discouraged, didn't have the right leadership, they wouldn't have created the great things that we have today. Actually, a good example of that I can think of is a lot of sports teams and a lot of things you see in the movies where people are down and they get the right coach. And I like this because it's not just one sport. It's generally all the sports. You get the right coach in there. He gives them that little pep talk. He gives them that little morale boosting speech. Vince Lombardi actually is a really good one, even though a lot of people would say, like, why would you pick that example? Like, he was a crazy dude. But he had the simple philosophy of, okay, we can tackle better, we can block better. Yeah, I'm sure he was a little bit crazy. He went a little bit irate. Maybe he said some things that aren't professional for this show. But he really was able to make Green Bay, when it first started, a very prosperous team, a very dominant team in the NFL. So if it wasn't for him, I don't think they would have the success they had. And he was really into it. So you gotta, even if your coach or mentor or the people around you are a little bit mean, quote unquote, but they're pushing you in the right direction, that's something you're gonna really need. You need that personal trainer to be like, hey, get off your butt, go work out. You're not performing as good as you can. And sometimes it hurts, when I was getting mentored in guitar, I'm telling them, like, you are not going to be at this level, or you're not putting your all in. I get really mad. I'm like, I'm trying really hard here. I don't need this. But then you take a step back and go, maybe they're just trying to help get me better. As long as it's constructive criticism. So as long as you're getting good criticism from your mentor and they're pushing you up every day, I think it's almost an essential factor to achieving success in this world. Throw it back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it is very important to have a mentor that can, give you pointers. It's funny because I have a really hard time sometimes with my mentor. She can be a bit overwhelming at times, but she loves and cares about me, and sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but there's been times when she could have walked away because I can be very difficult to reach sometimes because I have such firm beliefs and convictions. And we all have an ego. It's part of being human, and sometimes I don't like being challenged, but at the end of the day, I always think about what she says and the points that she makes, and I realize she is just trying to help. So even if we get into an argument or something, I always tell her that I'm sorry and that she really is just looking out for me. And so guys, if you got a mentor that's on your butt, that's because they give it, they care, and without that, you wouldn't have the personal development you're doing, because you got to have that person there to say, hey, this may not be a good idea. The things you're doing may be detrimental to your success. But another thing we've all got to realize is that we all define success differently. What means success to one person is not going to mean success to the other person. And I think personally for me, I want to clear up some misconceptions about network marketing. We all think that to be successful in network marketing, that you have to have, a huge downline, a huge team. You got to be making $20,000 a month. I really hope that someday network marketing's whole persona changes to where it shows people that aren't making $25,000 a month, that are making $3,000, $2,000, $1,000 a month, because that's still success. You're still making money with it. You still have a team. You're still building. It's still a business. If you're bringing in money off your efforts, it's a business. And a person making $2,500 a month, that's successful to them. So I really hope that we inspire people at the bottom. I don't really care about people at the top. I've never been about people at the top. I'm about people who are where I am. And those are the ones that I care about the most, are people that are where I am and just starting out. And that's why we're doing this show. Even if I was making $10,000 a month, I would still live like I live right now. I would still be Chris. I'd still be, the person I am. And I just want to make sure that people understand that if you want to have integrity, you can't let money change you. And when you're making the big bucks in network marketing, if you're fortunate enough to get to that level, make sure that you realize where you came from, and that the people who are just starting out are just as important as you are. I think caring about your team is absolutely, to me, having my team be successful, and we're all doing it together, is just like going on a 4-month cruise in the Caribbean. I would rather be at home working with my team than on a cruise ship spending money on stupid things. I don't really feel the need to do that. I'm not a very materialistic person. I just want to have enough money to be happy, and so that I don't have to worry about where my next paycheck's going to come from, like from a job. And a job, to me, the acronym for that is just over broke, because that's really all a job is. I mean, you're not winning, you're not breaking the bank by working a job. But I think that it's very important for anybody watching that you don't put all your eggs in one basket with network marketing, because you never know when a company is going to go under. There's been perfect examples of companies I can talk about now that they're not in existence, would be Vitamark. They were around for a lot of years. I'm not going to say a number because I don't know exactly how long, but they merged with another company and got bought out by another company. And that company's not nearly as duplicatable as Vitamark was. And so it just goes to show you that there is no 100-year business plan, and there never will be. So if you're going to do network marketing, my advice to you guys out there is do not put all your eggs in one basket. Yes, make it a source of income, but make sure you have other choices and you're expanding in other areas as an entrepreneur, so that you can combine those incomes and have actual multiple streams of income, because it is realistic if you're doing something other than network marketing, and you're expanding your efforts and your audience, and people having an influence in that way is very important. So I just really hope that one day network marketing will get away from all the hype and the heavy hitter nonsense, and the people who are at the top, I don't think they should be represented, because that's not how it is for most people. And if companies could take anything from what I'm saying, it's be honest and show the people that are at just starting out. Show how the business builds from the ground up, because it's easy to have a CEO on a video go, "Oh, these are the greatest products in the world, and you can change it." That's why most people don't believe in it, because they're not showcasing people at the bottom. And you got to do that, because that's going to build your integrity as a leader in anything that you do. You got to show where you're coming from. So I hope that I made a good point there, Kareem. But so yeah, I think that all that is very important, and having a mentor and people around you who believe in what you're doing and share your beliefs, and you guys can all inspire each other and work together. That's all very important stuff. Very important stuff. So, and Kareem, you got any thoughts you want to share?
Okay, yeah, just a couple last things. One thing I'm excited to announce is the website. We're building a website to integrate with this show and have past broadcasts and even like.
You mentioned that we're also doing. We're also gonna. I just want to say this in case you forgot. We're also gonna have a podcast. We're gonna look into doing this on the radio as well, internet radio, so people who don't have a powerful enough phone, because there are people out there who don't have phones or devices that they can view the YouTube stream on. So guys, we are looking into expanding onto internet radio as well, so that you can listen to our show. And you know, we'll probably also, I wanted to talk to Kareem about looking into us actually being able to possibly have a conference bridge where people can call in and ask us questions during the Q&A portion of the show. I think that would be very beneficial if we had an added feature like that, where people could call in live on the air through the phone and talk to us on the show, as well as instead of just being on the panel or asking us questions in the YouTube section. So sorry about that. Go ahead, Kareem.
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking of integrating something like that where we have like a webinar as well. And what we can do is we can do like a Citrix webinar. If you've seen them, people do like presentations. We can, and you can share your screen with that. So I could even, now I'm going to need maybe a couple computers to do this. I could even run a webinar on one of my desktops, run this on another desktop, so people can jump in the webinar and they can actually talk. And it'll look just like this, and we can see how that goes. And we're also going to have, like you said, podcasts. I'm also going to make like audio type things, like you're saying, to put on our website. So we'll have past broadcasts and audio stuff. I'll have a place where people can also, you know, get stuff. Maybe we can even integrate like some type of forum, so people,
Yes.
we can have a discussion. This is all coming on our website. Now I'm slowly building the website. It's taking time, but I am working on it, and I'm getting pretty close to getting it up and running. As for times on this, there's been a lot of people who, you know, expressed that it is a little bit late. And I think some people are running into trouble, you know, being that it's quite late and maybe they have other plans. So we're probably going to push the show up a couple of hours. I'm thinking around like maybe 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, my time, so that we can incorporate more people's schedules. And if you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is you do, like I said, feel free to come on. We're not going to mention anything like crazy. We don't get into any hot topics that we accept all kinds. Whatever it is you do, feel free to come on so we can inspire you through your business. That's all I have. I'm still pretty excited about everything we're doing. Yep. And do you have anything to add, Chris?
You know, no, I think we covered everything. Mike, fighting. Can you guys quit scrapping? Thank you. No, I think I think we had a good show tonight. And guys, you know, this has been the Entrepreneur Power Hour with your host, Chris Peters and Kareem Mays. And we do this every Saturday, and we're willing to take requests for rescheduling if you want to come on the panel. You know, go to the Google page. It's called the Entrepreneur Power Hour on Google. Follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called the Entrepreneur Power Hour. Very simple, very easy to find. And just let us know that you want to be on our show, and we'll be glad to have you. So, guys, I want to say good night and have a great weekend. And we'll see you next weekend on the Entrepreneur Power Hour.